Well, tonight on WTOL 11 Plus now, a mass shooting at a Michigan church.
Whether authorities say they are any closer to determining a motive behind the attack.
Nothing is inevitable, but I would say it's probably likely because they want to give health care to illegal immigrants, which will destroy health care for everybody else in our country.
Plus, a possible government shutdown just hours away, and top Democrats and Republicans, they are placing the blame on each other for the stalemate.
And check your freezers. A popular frozen treat sold at several stores is being recalled. We'll tell you what could be inside that could hurt you.
Thank you so much for joining us here on WTOL 11 Plus. Now, I'm Jeff Smith.
And I'm Kaylee Marintat. It's been 2 days since a devastating mass shooting was carried out on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan. Investigators are still searching for a possible motive. 4 people were killed and 8 others were injured. Authorities say the suspect, a former Marine, smashed his pickup truck into the front of the church and started shooting, then allegedly set the church on fire. Officials say he died during an exchange of gunfire with police.
Faith leaders around the country, they are sharing messages of hope in their own religious communities after the tragedy, including one local pastor we spoke to today. Reporter Faith Zahowski, she visited a church here in Toledo to hear about the pastor's reaction to the tragedy in Michigan.
Pastor George Williams is the founding pastor at City Light Church in Toledo. And after leading Sunday service this past weekend, he checked his phone and saw the heartbreaking news.
It's hard when you see the actual videos of these things happening. It hits the soul differently.
He's referring to the attack on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan on Sunday, leaving 5 dead and 8 injured. Williams says as a pastor, the attack hits too close to home.
It makes me think that I want to be more certain that I'm able to protect them as they find community here.
Williams Church is an Open Bible affiliated church. When he first heard the news, he says his reaction didn't come from his own religious affiliation.
The shock that I experienced would have been the same if it was a Muslim mosque, would have been the same if it was a Jewish synagogue or any other expression of faith.
WTOL 11 reached out to local Mormon churches, and while they are currently not publicly speaking on the attack, they shared the following quote: "We are deeply grateful for the outpouring of prayers and concern from so many people around the world. In moments of sorrow and uncertainty, we find strength and comfort through our faith in Jesus Christ. Places of worship are meant to be sanctuaries of peacemaking, prayer, and connection. We pray for peace and healing for all involved." End quote. Williams says faith leaders need to take measures to protect their worshipers, but says it's a balancing act.
I understand the fear. The human experience is overcoming fear in pursuit of something greater. And I would say at all costs, don't give those things up.
Following up on this story in Faith, before we get into your interview today, I want to talk to you a little bit about being on the ground yesterday and just a day out from this tragedy. Your feelings, your emotions that you went through, because as I said before we came out, we want to be empathetic. We don't want to be oversympathetic because of the job we have to do, but that's tough, is it not?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny you mention this because the pastor I spoke with today said, "How are you doing? How does this affect you?"
Yeah, he wanted to know.
Yes, which I told him, what I've told a lot of people who have asked me about covering it yesterday is that as journalists, like you said, we have to cover it. We do the job. We're in the zone of making sure everything gets in on time, but also making sure we have the right tone and trying to process what's going on, what's happening at the same time as working.
And I told you, and I don't know if our viewers at home noticed it as well, you could hear it in your voice yesterday. This was heavy material. This was a sad, sad story, tragic story. And on the ground, at the end of the day, we're human beings. And that's tough sometimes to process. Talk about the pastor processing this. And in the conversation you had with him, you and I talked about Sunday services, weekday services, no matter what it is. And you're left with that feeling that I'm not putting an air marshal in my congregation. I'm not putting armed guards at the back of the church.
Yeah.
And that's kind of his thoughts, was it not?
Yeah, absolutely. And he shared with me something that really stuck with me is that people are looking for a place, a spiritual place of peace, because our natural world is not peaceful and is unknown. And that's where people go to find God. And he said, even those places are becoming unsafe and uncertain. But yes, he said to me, it's about finding that fine line of, you want people to feel welcome to come into your place of worship, but also to be safe. And he said he hopes that faith leaders will take it seriously, and he himself, it was a shift of mind to make sure that people feel safe and he can protect them.
Yes or no? Did he talk about the message he takes to the pulpit this coming Sunday? Did he talk about that at all? Because I'm curious, do you address it? It's the elephant in the room. Do you address this with your congregation?
Right. He didn't mention this upcoming Sunday, but I did ask him how he found out about the news, and he was walking out of leading Sunday service this past Sunday, and looked at his phone and remarked on how the culmination of everything was what was striking to him. You know, the suspect, how he allegedly drove through the building and then opened fire and then set the church ablaze. It was everything that's overwhelming for him to process, as multiple people said yesterday at the press conference as well.
Finally, as he works through this, and what does he hope his congregation, how they're dealing with this, what does he hope they take from it?
Absolutely. He said multiple times, this is a freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press. And he hopes that people will remember that, and that it's inherently part of us to practice those rights. So he said it's
church,
faith
period.
over fear. Yeah, he said it's faith over fear.
Well, Faith, fittingly enough, your name. We appreciate the time that you took into this, and obviously this experience was not an easy one. Thanks. Kaylee, back to you.
Now to the stories making headlines across the country and around the world. Drug maker Pfizer is planning to lower prices on several medications in the U.S. We'll tell you by how much. An update on the shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas. Also, President Trump addressed a rare gathering of top military leaders at Quantico Marine Corps base in Virginia. But first, with a possible government shutdown just hours away, top Democrats and Republicans are placing blame on each other for the stalemate. To avert a government shutdown, the Senate could pass a Republican measure today that extends federal funding at its current level until mid-November. But Democrats are demanding the bill include an extension of Affordable Care Act benefits expiring this year and reverse cuts to Medicaid. A government shutdown could mean non-essential government services would be disrupted and thousands of federal workers could be furloughed. The White House also threatened mass firings at some federal agencies if no deal is reached. President Trump addressed a rare gathering of top military leaders this morning at Quantico Marine Corps based in Virginia. He rallied the troops, but also talked about the new focus for the military. He talked about expanding deployments of the National Guard to other U.S. cities. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth delivered remarks ahead of the president, calling the meeting a moment of urgency. He also took aim at what he called past initiatives focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. A second detainee who was shot at an Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Dallas has died. Miguel Angel Garcia Hernandez was one of the 3 detainees shot in the attack last week. A Homeland Security official says the 32-year-old died while hospitalized after the shooting. A 37-year-old from El Salvador died the day of the attack. The third victim is still in the hospital. President Donald Trump announced today that drug maker Pfizer will lower prices on several medications in the U.S. The White House also unveiled a direct-to-customer website for Americans to buy drugs called Trump RX. The drug maker will launch sales of some of its drugs directly to consumers through that website. The president says Pfizer has agreed to provide some of its most popular current medications to all consumers at heavily discounted prices of anywhere between 50 and even 100%.
Now, still to come, it has been a year since Hurricane Helene, and a boy from Georgia helped those in the area who were in need. We'll show you how. Plus, why this frozen dessert right here is being added to a recall list. We'll tell you where you might have seen it, the stores, and why they say don't eat it.
And the summer heat's going to last on as we get into the upcoming weekend. I'll highlight the sunshine, the mild breeze, and how long it lasts before we see a turn in the weather pattern. More on that's coming up.
Welcome back. You follow WTOL 11 on social media. Well, right now there's a video that you've got to see on our TikTok page. Here's Sophia Pericone.
A big Supreme Court decision could be coming. President Donald Trump is asking the justices to back his order ending birthright citizenship. Let's break this down. Right now, the Constitution's 14th Amendment guarantees citizenship to nearly anyone born on U.S. soil, even if their parents are here temporarily or illegally. It's been this way for more than 125 years. You can pause to read it there. The president signed an order his first day back in office to change this, but nearly every lower court has blocked it, calling it unconstitutional. The administration says changing this is about border security, but civil rights groups say this is illegal and cruel. The Supreme Court will decide in the coming months whether to even hear the case, but there could be a possible ruling by next summer. So here's the big question. Should being born in the United States automatically make you a citizen or not?
Make sure you are following WTOL 11 on your favorite social media platform to stay up to date. All right, other trending stories that we're tracking for you tonight. True Fruit has recalled some of its freeze-dried fruit because it might contain metal fragments. The recall was technically issued by Georgia Nut Company, which manufactures the products. Affected items are True Fruit freeze-dried strawberries in dark and white chocolate and strawberries and cream. They were sold at retailers including Target, Albertsons, Kroger, and CVS. There have been no reports of injuries. Good news there. Well, everybody's been talking about the weather and how it has been acting. Well, it's really just weird all year.
Nothing frozen.
Spring was early, spring was late, summer was early, summer was late.
It seems like the seasons have pushed a little bit later into the year.
Yeah.
Essentially, summer extending into fall, fall extending into winter. That's kind of a little bit of a climate trend we've been noticing. How does it mid-80s sound for the first weekend in October?
I can't complain.
Windows open.
I didn't expect
You're
to be
quiet over here.
golfing, in October
Right,
in shorts and a t-shirt.
You're
but
thinking more like flannels and hoodies and
Right.
football games and pumpkin patches. We'll have time for that later in the month, but this is going to be a fall, summer feeling forecast into early autumn. So let's take a look at the current temperatures if you're going to be out this evening. Still have many areas right around the 70s. Difference is east of I-75, a lake breeze that's now kicked into the area. So we went from the mid to upper 70s back into the lower 70s. We already well reached the highs of the day. Upper 70s from Findlay to Ottawa, Defiance at 80 degrees. And over toward Bryan, you're just a degree shy of 80 at 79. Probably not much of a surprise. Yes, we did get some rain toward the middle of last week, so that hasn't actually been accounted for in the latest drought monitor that we will receive on Thursday. But still, we expect we have some areas of extreme drought. Southern Wood County, northern Hancock County, almost every county in northwest Ohio under some sort of severe drought. But again, some areas in Williams County, Fulton County, up toward Monroe County, and eastern parts of Sandusky and Seneca County and Ottawa County did get some serious rain late last week. So we'll see the updates on that. May have some areas that have some modest improvements. Other areas could dive deeper into drought territory. Still no rain in sight, and it is going to be absolutely dry across the area over the next several days. Where we do have some activity, let's take you down into the tropics. A brand new named hurricane, and this is Hurricane Imelda, now joining Hurricane Umberto, which is a hurricane that is quickly moving off the eastern seaboard. This one now, there's the island of Bermuda. So Umberto is actually drifting to the north, but it is likely to take a direct hit from Imelda that will be tracking to the east, and very late Wednesday to Thursday could take a direct hit with a strong Category 2 hurricane. Look at the wind field. This is the wind that's generated from these two tropical systems all off the eastern coast. Now, they are experiencing a little bit of coastal erosion, some rip current risk, and some high choppy seas across the Atlantic coast, but all that really serious wind, that is going to stay east, and there it is, the island of Bermuda. They may take a hit right on the chin from Imelda as we go through late Wednesday and into Thursday. Bus stop forecast back here at home for tomorrow. It is going to be dry and clear first morning of October, back into the lower 70s. And our chance of rain, it is essentially non-existent. We're going to see that flat line over the next couple of days. So no rain in sight, some clouds. May try to increase late in the day Wednesday, so a bright start to the day. There's a little bit of that cloud cover late Wednesday and into Wednesday night. 10-day forecast, dry weather for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. There it is, mid-80s. If you're thinking fall feeling weather, it's not going to be this weekend, more like late summer. And then next week, a front on Tuesday. That's what could bring a change. A few rain chances, but temperatures back into the lower 70s toward the end of that 10-day forecast. Back over to you guys.
When Hurricane Helene hit, people needed help fast, and they may not have expected that help to come from a 15-year-old in Georgia.
Here is Caitlin Ross.
Benjamin Martin is at the controls,
Let me see what the band conditions are.
but you can call him.
KQ4, KIS, Benji here.
Manning the Aries emergency radio frequency from his bedroom in Chamblee, Georgia.
Switching over to 146.760.
He takes his volunteer position seriously.
Roger that, I'm starting to reach y'all by 5:3, 5:4.
And when Hurricane Helene came barreling toward the southeast,
When that last storm front was coming through,
he was ready to serve at a moment's notice.
Schools were closing. They were telling us Atlanta's going to take a full-out hit.
His mom, Julianne, knew it was only a matter of time before he'd be called to help.
I contacted a school and said, hey, by the way, my kid's probably at the age of 15 going to be activated.
KQ4, KIS, how do you read?
Benji manned the radio overnight, prepared to answer anyone who made a call for help.
This repeater's dead. If you're trying to get help, switch to this one.
He helped locate a medically fragile woman missing in the wake of the storm.
He says, my job is to make sure that whoever's on the other side has somebody to hear them and that they know that they're going to get the help they need.
Sounds good. Richard, are you out there still?
The radio community has been the help he needed, too.
Just seeing how you're doing. Overall rag chew.
Finding friendship on the other end of the radio and real community with people who have a heart to serve.
The community, even if I'm going through a really bad day, they're always there to help, and we always kind of stick by each other's side.
And by his side, a fuzzy co-pilot.
Buns, so he is my bunny. He'll try and jump up around kind of that little area there.
Benji is always right here.
See you in a bit.
Reporting for duty, there for whoever needs him.
We all have times where we need help and where we're at our lowest. And I find being able to help someone there, it's just something about it that just feels right. Like I'm making a difference. Thanks for being on KQ4, KIS, clear.
Ham radio, I don't know if you know this or not, ham radio is huge around Northwest Ohio. There are operators and clubs all over. That was Caitlin Ross reporting. Now at 16 years of age, Benji is starting his own club at high school, a ham radio club, to get other kids involved.
He was even given an award for his work during Hurricane Helene. Well, still to come, new developments in the murder case of Kimani Lateague. New court documents reveal key evidence in the case. We'll tell you what attorneys for her father are trying to do about it.
A man accused of murdering his father in Wood County was in court today, where the prosecutor alleges that he may have harmed another person close to him. Thanks so much for being with us here on WTOL 11 Plus now.
Here's a look at some of the local stories we're following for you tonight. A Wood County man accused of stabbing his father to death was arraigned this afternoon. 36-year-old Richard Dannenberger was arrested Monday night and charged with murder. Deputies say his father, 66-year-old Raymond Dannenberger, was found dead outside his son's home on Devil's Hole Road in Troy Township. The two lived next door to one another.
Law enforcement is continuing to investigate the case. There's also an indication that a dog that was at the residence was stabbed to death, and that another individual, the defendant's wife, was choked.
Dannenberger is being held on a $500,000 bond. He's due back in court next week.
A new court filing is shedding some light on key evidence in the murder of Kimani Lateague. Attorneys for her father, Darnell Jones, they have filed a motion to suppress evidence gathered from a March search of his home and SUV. Police seized a pair of girls' underwear allegedly stained with blood, a plastic mat, and muddy boots. But the defense argues the search warrant was based on weak hearsay from Kimani's grandmother, Dorothy Lateague, and Jones's girlfriend, Nina Turner, and lacks probable cause. A judge will now decide whether that evidence can be used in court.
Toledo public school officials say a paraprofessional has been suspended without pay for, quote, actions towards a student at Garfield Elementary School. In a statement to WTOL 11, TPS called the alleged incident deeply concerning, but did not provide details of what happened. TPS said after becoming aware of the incident, the district immediately removed the employee and contacted Lucas County Children's Services. The employee has not been identified yet, and an investigation is underway.
New tonight, Lucas County Job and Family Services will continue to help families achieve independence from government assistance. Lucas County Commissioners approving the continuation of the Benefit Bridge program today. It is designed to help support individuals transition from receiving assistance to being able to support themselves. Job and Family Services says the program has already helped 48 families in Lucas County increase their credit scores and financial literacy.
Employers will tell you this will be able to keep employees working, and employees will also tell you this gives them the ability to be able to keep that child care and to gradually be taken off of benefits on a gradual way instead of an automatic.
The program will cost more than $2 million in state funds.
Since you're here on WTOL 11 Plus, you can check out some of the other content we have, including a brand new episode of Well Read, Well Said.
I'm going to start, though, real quick with what we rated the book for Ward D. So we'll pop that up. I gave Ward D a 4 stars. I really liked it. But we all know I'm an aggressive rater. So
Unlike
you
me and my
usually
5-star.
see a 5-star from me. Mel?
Yeah, I gave it a 4 too. I also thought it was really suspenseful and interesting, and this is the first book I've read. I mean, I've read other Frida books, but it's the first one in that genre in a while. So I think it's nice to, it's kind of a really fast, quick, interesting read.
Megan, you gave it?
I gave it a 5 stars. That's no surprise to anybody here. I liked that it hooked me from the start, and I kept wanting to back up the book to find out what happened next, and it kept me guessing. And I didn't predict any of the things. And so I think that was why I rated it so high.
Same. Well, I didn't do 5, but
you did 4, right?
I did 4. Yeah, just kept me interested the whole time, wanted to know what was happening, spouting off theories. That Melissa finished it first. Megan hadn't finished it yet, so I was texting Melissa, predicting stuff, and she's like, just read it. and then she was reading it, and she was texting me different things, and I had one of my friends reading it, which shout out to Paige, because she figured the whole thing out.
You can watch the full episode of Well Read, Well Said next.
Well, check this out. Reason to smile. This is Dot. It is DoorDash delivery robot. DOT is fully autonomous, all electric, about 1/10 the size of a car, and can reach speeds of up to 20 miles per hour. It can use bike lanes, sidewalks, and roads to deliver orders in a timely manner. DOT will start delivering in the Phoenix area with hopes to expand to more cities in the future. So we have seen these, we were talking about it earlier, we have seen these, not the red dot looking, we've seen the white trash can looking ones with wheels that are on the campus of Bowling Green State University. Chris, we were saying those things have been kind of a luxury for students down at BGSU, something when we went to school in the 90s could have never fathomed something like this.
How on earth did we survive?
I don't know.
Going to get your food, right?
Right.
And it didn't just show up in R2-D2 at your front door.
Right. Going to the payphone, dropping a quarter, and waiting for it to arrive.
I know they.
By car.
Yeah, I was like, what's a pay? I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
I'm not. I'm joking. I'm joking. I know the ones at BGSU's campus too. Like I've seen them in the crosswalk, go to cross the street, and then they sense a car coming. And did they get delayed? I've never.
They got all the sensors on them and everything.
No, but if you listen really closely, you hear them going, oh, no.
Well, weather-wise, we've got great weather heading into early October. Highs tomorrow going to be a little bit different from what we felt the past couple of days. The breeze is going to pick up, which will keep us right around the low to mid-70s. Dry conditions through Wednesday afternoon. Mid-70s on Thursday, low 80s on Friday. It is going to be dry, and then into the weekend, mid-80s for Saturday and Sunday. It is going to be a warm-feeling weekend. That's going to be more typical of mid to late August is what it's going to feel like, not October. So if it's pumpkin patches, apple farms, hey, get out there and do it because October weekends are limited. It's just not going to be one of the cooler October weekends. When we could get rain, it's Tuesday of next week, and that's with a front that comes in and will drop highs back into the 70s. That's a little more typical of what you would expect in October. Average highs as we go through the first 10 days trend from 72 on the first day to 68 by October 10th, so we start to drop fairly quickly.
Something we did not mention, the Tigers, the Indians, wild card baseball playoffs today. Tigers walk away with a 2-1 win.
And they got a banner game for tomorrow with beautiful weather. Should be a great one.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us here on WTOL 11+.
We'll see you back here tonight at 11 o'clock. Have a good night.